We see technology changing at a dramatic pace lately. Well, the last few years, last 10 years, I'd say ever since the iPhone came out, right? If you think about it.
Pretty much.
Let's put a time on it. Let's say the last 10 years, right? Everything's happening around the technology where people can carry just about anything they want in their damn pocket in terms of data, communications. How did it go originally with it's a phone?
Yeah, right.
It's
internet communicator.
That.
People weren't getting it at the time.
Yeah, you had to say it about 3 times, I think. But we should look at how that can relate to audio, or how it's going to relate to audio, because it's obviously changing the landscape in tech. And that's got to come back to things that we do in audio, from all kinds of directions.
Yeah, I think the big one is it's immersion. Everything's about immersion these days. It's like the Sphere in Las Vegas, audio and video, combined to make a more immersive concert-going experience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know about what that Sphere is in Vegas, it's like a giant globe video screen, right? Mm-hmm. On the outside and inside?
Yep.
So from the sky, you see a giant video.
It's a sphere on the outside, and it is on the inside as well. And sort of the thing that enables it is they developed a speaker and a technology to be able to drive speakers that effectively more or less pinpoints supposedly stereo imaging sound to pretty much every seat in the house.
Wow.
So it's some whiz-bang speaker array with like some fancy software and stuff like that. Really complicated.
That's pretty
And that's
cool.
sort of what we're seeing with everything. We're seeing technology solving a physical problem. And what does that mean for headphones?
I don't know, but there's got to be better seats in the house than all of them, right? I don't know.
Well, they say it's pretty damn good everywhere.
Remember we used to,
I don't know, I haven't been there, but it seems pretty cool.
That's some serious DSP. Well, we used to, back in the day when we did CES, we were a number of times at the Mirage, and they had the Beatles show going all the time. And everywhere you stood around there, it sounded pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, it was like a 360 kind of seating arrangement.
There's speakers everywhere, which did it. But they managed to get somehow, there was imaging going on in a lot of areas where you didn't have a too bad
typically, at a concert venue, audio is crap.
Totally.
For whatever reason, they don't put any effort in.
Well, they got massive stacks of speakers in the front by the stage, and that's it. And
it's blaringly loud next to the speakers, and everywhere
watts.
else you get all kinds of echoes, reverb, and issues and things.
Yeah.
And it depends how much effort they put in, how well it's tuned, and whatnot. But it would be cool to see more technology to be able to solve these issues easy and that to actually be implemented. It might exist.
Well, because I think a lot of the music listening now has become personal. I mean, by all means, concerts are wildly popular still to see live, right? Your favorite singers live, but yeah, it's so personal now that, I think it looks like that's where it's going. Obviously, you've got Atmos being incorporated in music with Apple. It's all built into their ecosystem at this point. With music, which is new, really relatively new.
But, I mean, as we're seeing now also with Apple, that Vision Pro came out, so that adds a visual element to the spatial audio and all that.
That's so very personal.
It's definitely going that way. Everybody's going to be in their own little world, literally,
Yeah, because, I mean, you think about it, right? Even if you were wearing headphones and listening to a concert, you still had to watch it on a TV, on a flat screen.
Right.
And now you bring the concert to you along with the audio, and that, if you think about that, it actually levels the playing field. It can't be as immersive if the screen's over there and your audio's here.
Well, and it's flat. You're just looking at a 2D image.
And vice versa.
So. And you could do head tracking. So when you move your head, the audio could follow, and you could see, what's going on in the venue around you. Theoretically, you could engage with other people around you and things like that. Have more interactive elements. This is possible with VR or AR or whatever you want to call it, and it seems likely that we'll get this eventually, but it is a little odd that that type of element to audio has been lacking to some extent.
Well, what's going to have to change dramatically is the recording of these things.
Well, yeah.
In other words, anything you do with audio, typically you're playing back something that happened in the past. So that stuff that's out there now, the current content that's out there now, I mean, they could probably find ways of visually making it interesting with this new headset stuff, but I don't know. Like they couldn't place you in the. It seems like it'd be difficult. They could place you in the audience with the audio, but visually it'd be tough to do because they didn't record the audience around you. Maybe they could put a fake audience around you, but that would probably. Wow, I don't know how that would come out. Maybe AI could deal with it. I don't know. But
well, you could imagine the possibilities,
right?
Because the technology is possible today. They're shipping Apple Vision Pro. It's pretty good. There's obviously other headsets and things like that. So it's possible today, but it's kind of on the edge where it's not really so practical. There's a lot of issues. So I wonder when it's going to happen, when the threshold's going to be met, where enough people have this technology that everyone is going to start developing for it and it's going to start implementing cool features.
They're going to start absorbing this content in a totally different manner. And it's going to be a slow process for sure.
Well, we know how this process works, though. We've seen it before. It was like people need to experience it first, and then people need to develop specifically for
trade shows.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like when the iPhone came out, there was no app store, right? Nobody even thought to put apps, and now it's like common to have apps for everything, right? So people need to experience it. You need to figure out how you're going to use it and how you want to use it, and for what situation, and eventually it'll just become commonplace, where it's just.
It's going to be kind of wild if you think about it. I mean, the possibilities are to bring content to an individual as if you were there. It could be pretty cool, but it's going to require an awful lot of brand new skill sets to do it. I mean, that's the problem. Like it won't. We're talking probably a 10-year, at least, before it gets immersive.
I mean, you can record Vision Pro videos on your iPhone now, but without the ability to view them, you don't really know how to use it yet.
Well, that's
really,
true.
So you have to have a Vision Pro to actually know how to develop for it, right?
Yeah.
So.
But it's possible today. So I wonder what the timeline is, because without people supporting it and without people pushing to do the very difficult things and implement cool features like live concerts that are actually truly immersive. It's hard to say where the future's going to go. People need to really put effort in to be able to get this stuff to work reliably and robust. Because you look at any technology now, the stuff that people use on a daily basis, it only works well because people have spent an immense amount of time making sure that it does. And now it's at the point where a smartphone is so common, you use it for like pretty much anything. And where are we going to be? How far out is it before we get that demand for personal audio to the masses rather than just a small group of people?
Well, when it hits the point where everybody just puts on their whatever VR headset and you go to it's a live concert, nobody there, just the band, and everybody's like at their house watching a live concert in their own little world,
That just made me think of a crazy thing where, how our phones now, it's kind of like a Photoshop thing where you could strip the background on a picture, right? You just focus on an image. You imagine doing that in a concert where you can tell your goggles to turn off the audience, and the audience disappears, or just all I want is the singer's mouth or the face, and all you see is the face with the microphone, and you hear that voice.
Change where you're standing.
Anything in the set, to take the drummer out, add it. I mean, can you imagine that? Where you can adjust the concert to the way you want, or focus on what you want.
All this is possible.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's just like the holodeck, right? Remove this, it's like, and it's just gone.
Yeah, just with a flick of a finger, swipe it away, and get rid of that. And this person next to me is making a lot of noise.
So is that your vision for the future, altering reality, but still overlaying it in an actual environment?
Well, given the tech, I don't see what else it's going to be used for. I mean, it's a personal device for vision.
Well, and audio.
Yeah, and audio. But we have that already.
Well, we had audio.
Yeah, but we've never had this.
The tricky thing is, audio is something that obviously effectively everyone is familiar with, and you experience audio on a daily basis. So you would think that there would be more people interested in getting nearly flawless personal audio that you could deliver a life experience to your home. But oddly enough, that isn't the case. Is that just because of the complexity, the cost?
No.
It doesn't seem like it's a lack of demand.
The audio could be very personal and upfront, and could be adjusted any way you want. Really, to me, the issue's always been that the video lags it. And so at some point the audio, if you I've seen it a million times over, because this has been going on, where the audio tends to leapfrog the video. And so, again, this whole idea of immersion gets lost in the process because you can make the audio sound really good to you personally, but the videos, again, because it's always in front of you on a screen, it's always been lacking. And the videos have gotten better, and the audio has gotten better too with people who haven't had things like these headphones and stuff. But that didn't exist 10 years ago either, right? You had, I don't know what you had. You had people running speakers. I mean, even before flat screens, you had people with speakers in the room. You had people with a dozen speakers in the room, and it still wasn't enough, right? But either way, I mean, to me, the audio has always been kind of, you could put the audio ahead of the video, but my experience has been when people do that in a room. Let's say they got the best projector system there is, right? They got a $100,000 projector on a nice screen. They got it all beautiful system, all tweaked out. Yep. They put their 12 speakers, whatever number of speakers they need to get their surround going, and stuff like that, or whatever they're doing, right? And get it dialed in. They spend $250,000 on this room, right? You could talk to them about it. I have many, 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 many times, right? Somewhere in that space, something's lacking. It's always lacking. The audio's not matching up with the video, and it's not like anything's wrong with either of them. They're maxed out, but they're not matching up.
Well, there is a problem there. It's because it's down to who made the original multi-channel.
Right.
It's not, you don't have the same setup they had. That's the problem.
You don't have control over the recording or the source.
But that's the same thing. Why it's been hard to mesh spatial audio and video together. Is not if you want songs you're used to listening to, well, you can't remake them again from 50 years ago. Right. So re-record them in the new format. So.
They've tried.
Yeah,
I mean, you just messes them up.
Yeah, you can, but yeah.
The problem is you already got history with the song.
Yeah,
the music. You already know what it sounds like. So now you throw it to somebody a different way and go, oh, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make it right. I think once it's already wrong.
It's tough. And I do agree that's probably a big factor because you look at where we are now with the technology that everyone deals with on a daily basis. It's pretty much a phone, a smartphone. And it's amazing to me how common they are, and yet that didn't translate into audio. You have a huge number of people, the world's population, that has smartphones, that has relatively powerful smartphones, but you don't have the same with headphones. People are willing to tolerate pretty cheap, bad headphones. And is it just because of that? Because there isn't that uniform experience that people are making the music that are using to develop? Because the app developers, obviously, they're using the same phone, so they're making the app work for your phone.
Right.
So the experience works uniformly, seamlessly. But that isn't the case with audio. People don't have a uniform experience for audio.
I mean, Apple's trying, right? It's
yeah.
I mean, most people, the most popular headphone in the world is AirPods, right? So at least in the Apple ecosystem, that you kind of have some uniformity.
But it's very diverse.
They're giving everyone around them the means to present media in the best way possible. I know I was dealing with we've got a mastering engineer, a pretty popular mastering engineer who's got our headphones, and he was talking about dealing with Atmos, and he's trying to teach others how to record Atmos, and I don't know how they call it, layers or whatever. When they're doing a recording process, they could put a sound anywhere in a 360 degree 3-dimensional field.
Yep.
They could place the sound anywhere. It's on screen. Just move it here. You want the drummer up here to the right, down there, wherever, and they can put it anywhere they want in Atmos. And but the real reality of it is with music, not movies, music, where's the best place to put it? And he's actually instructing people because what's been going on is people who have been using Atmos to create an Atmos layer from music are doing it as if it was movies, and it's not. And that's a problem.
Well, that's the thing. You have almost too much. You have too many options. You could do anything, right? You could put anything anywhere.
But there is a better way. There's a good way. Yeah. And but see, here's the problem. Now, people need to be retrained. The guys that are actually laying down, mastering the music, the mixing engineers are cool. They're giving you 100 channels of whatever. You got the guitar here. You got all these microphones. Bam. Here you go, mastering guy. Put it together, make it sound good, right? But bottom line is that, when you think about it, it's that's not Apple's job. And they'll tell you that straight up. We don't make the content. You guys are in charge of that. We're giving you the tools to play it back. You need to figure out how to do it. And that's where it stands right now. And that's what's going on with music.
Definitely a learning curve. No doubt there.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. And again, the same thing's going to happen with video all over again, because now you suddenly have a whole new way to personally watch video that's pretty much unlimited in its scope. As it grows, the source material still has to keep catching up.
Well, and we need some really good, almost perfect AI tools that can magically, with one click in 10 minutes, transfer old content into, perfect.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Modern.
Well, AI might be able to do it in video, right? It might be able to create
it. Seems very
it.
possible.
But depth is a bitch in video.
Yeah.
I don't know how
this is doable.
Yeah. I don't know.
It may take a little bit of time, because right now there really isn't like a standard for a uniform experience. I think if you develop that, we can make an AI tool
until that happens, it's like, you could only watch modern movies that just came out now. Going for anything you've ever listened to or watched in the past.
That's pretty much the way it's always been.
Yeah,
when you think about it,
that sucks, right?
And that's a big limitation.
They come out with a new Dolby format.
Yeah, right.
Now you got to get the latest movie.
Right. I guess it has always been like that. Yeah.
That stuff kind of, when you think about it, actually, that stuff really stopped happening for a long time, didn't it?
Kind of, yeah.
Well,
DTS.
It got good enough.
Yeah, right. Where it's like, what I think that stuff probably feeds back to the guys laying it down, going, you can't keep changing these formats up on us.
Well, it's not only that.
We can't deal with it.
I think people moved away from home theater. Everybody has sound bars, and just like, you plug it in and it has Atmos in it, and I don't care. You don't need all these speakers or anything anymore. So.
Where, in other words, people don't even think about it anymore.
It's an HDMI cable. You plug it in.
It used to be, I got to go out and get a Blu-ray that has DTS encoding so I could enjoy my new receiver. Now everything has it.
Right.
I guess I could see that. You don't think about it anymore. It's just part of the tech. It's built in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that means
when
it's mature,
working.
right? It's
Right.
mature.
Well, right. True. Yeah. Everything. It's ambiguous. Everything has it, and it just
Well,
works.
where we are with high-end audio experiences is not the case. It's still a little bit more
That's for sure.
complicated. We need more integration, and it'd be nice to have somebody help push for that, because it's the thing that not a singular individual could do, unless you somehow have unlimited budget. It's very difficult to control an entire industry.
Well, Apple's the one
Change
with the tools to do it.
Yeah.
They're the one with the money.
Change is slow. Yeah.
And the influence, right?
See, that's the thing, though. I mean, they're giving you the tools. They're saying, "Look what you could do," but someone's got to figure it out.
Well, we're at early days for it, for sure.
I could see some of the guys at Apple going like, "We got to do everything for you. Like, do we have to make the content?"
Well, they do. That's the thing. Apple is now. I mean, they are making their own shows now and everything.
That's
so
true.
They kind of are doing both.
That's cool, because that will show people the way, right? At least in their vision of what it should do.
Right.
And here we go with that artistic intent. Content. What about the content thing? It's like everybody has a different idea of what their movie or concert or whatever should look like on an Apple Vision Pro or whatever comes in the future. So you're going to have all that too. It's never. The formats will never be. What would you say it? The same. Like the content will never be
just one
level.
Yeah.
It all does that.
Well, you look how long it took for smartphones to do that, because now you could pretty much buy any flagship smartphone, doesn't matter if it's an Android device or iOS or whatever, and they're pretty good. They work fine. They do what you expect. They have the apps most people are going to want. The advantages between one or another, they're much less than they were. It used to always be, well, this is great for this, and right? But now they're all getting a lot more uniform. They're working.
Yeah, right.
You just buy one.
Well,
you go to the store.
Yeah, they've for the most part settled on a format, a size, resolutions, and they're all pretty similar.
Not
now.
a huge difference between them. So you could get a good experience out of any of them. But what that means is app developers know, basically, we can make an app that does this, and you're going to have it work the way we expect.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but we need that for audio, or a more immersion experience like a VR or AR would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And nobody really managed to crack that one yet, but if you use smartphones as a track record, we're 10, 15, 20 years away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, before
that.
Everything's like that.
And a tough transition to get there.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see.
We're in the beginning of a new journey, right?
all right. So here's here's where I see this then. Right, this isn't a perfect response, but because this is off the top of my head, right? But this starts at schooling. There needs to be more specialized training that's standardized for these processes, for the filmmaking processes, for the audio, for the recording and mastering and mixing processes. It shouldn't be, my grandfather taught me this stuff, so I do it the same way type thing. And I don't think there is. I think a lot of it is on the job, and and it is artistic intent. I don't know. I mean,
you're talking about a generation then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I'm saying is the younger people need to take this shit over and roll with it to fit these new scenarios.
Well, it's gonna happen. It's just gonna take time.
Because the older guys are gonna be,
Yeah.
I've been doing it this way. It works. People like it, and I get that because you can't just turn that off either because not everyone's gonna have an Apple dongle thing or whatever, and I mean, a goggle thing, So that's going to take time too to get out there.
Yeah. It's not like it's going to replace all the current stuff overnight.
I mean, let's look at how long did it take 4K TVs to really become everywhere?
Long time.
10 years or something.
Yeah. It's probably going to be.
But you look at it now, the cheapest TV you could buy, it's probably 4K.
Yeah,
right.
It'd be tough not to get that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And they still all look like shit in the cheaper end versus the higher end. There's a big difference in.
Maybe,
but it's not as big.
It's not as big as it used to be.
Are pretty good now compared to how bad they were.
True.
Yeah.
In the early days, the cheap LCDs were horrible.
But
now
a good 1080p TV still looks pretty good. I mean, a nice Sony or stuff like a Master Series Sony.
Sure.
I still got one at home and it looks pretty damn good. Playing 4K content. But there's a lot of shitty ones out there that are in the garbage right now. That
Yeah.
But anyway, that's sidetracking. Yes. 10 years seems to be a number at where you start to see things.
That's around the time.
Congeal.
Well, it'll go one way or the other. If it take 10 years, and it'll be like a mature, ubiquitous kind of thing, or it'll just die, and then nobody would ever.
Right.
It's like 3D. You know how many times they tried to do 3D video?
Yeah.
It died so many times.
Where the shit comes out of the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that never
it's
really
total.
worked.
No TVs even have it anymore.
No.
So that could happen too.
They dumbed it down to putting those stupid plastic glasses on. They give everyone when they walk in the theater. That just ruins the experience.
Well, a lot of them had active glasses that were expensive.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that was
didn't
obviously
work
an
either.
issue.
The goal was to have glasses free, and that they did exist, but then it had a whole different problem.
About that.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the first 3D TVs. It was like, I think the late 90s at Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Mm-hmm. They actually had a system. And of course it was 20 PCs, a rack full of shit, and then just to make something come out at you like a dragon or something out of one of the cartoons or something.
I remember seeing those. It was pretty cool, but they were so big.
Yeah, it was a lot of
It wasn't
equipment.
practical.
Yeah, right. It was like, one day we'll compact this into a thing. We just got to put it on a chip. That was the idea back then. We'll put this all on a chip.
Well, now it is. Now it's no problem, but now nobody uses it.
Yeah, it's
so
funny how that works.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough blabbing. That's our take on the future of this.
Just audio video.
Yeah. Let's have fun with it. Thanks, everyone. Take care of yourself.